guys, it's Mickey and welcome to my first booktube video on this channel. Today I've decided to do a 24-hour readathon and it's currently 5 p.m. on Thursday, July 30th. I know I sound crazy for starting a readathon this late, but I'm off for the next 2 days, so I just figured why not make content that I like to watch. So I've actually set myself a pretty ambitious TBR for this video. I have 4 books here, and I've actually been going through a pretty bad reading slump, so I've chose books that I feel like are interesting. So the first book that I think will be the most relevant to read in the day and age that we're living in is Station 11 by Emily St. Johnson Mandel. I don't know much about any of these books. I just know that Station 11 is about theater and a pandemic. So I thought, I've had this on my TBR for a while, I might as well try to read it. It's short, it looks good. The next book I have is Animal Farm by George Orwell. I actually haven't read this before and it's really small. All I know is this book is about farm animals and it's supposedly a commentary on communism. So I'm really intrigued and I think I can get through this really fast. And this is the audiobook I'm going to read for this 24-hour readathon. I'm going to read Challenger Deep by Neal Shusterman. Same thing with this. All I know is this book is about a kid who is straddling 2 different realities, one being on a ship and one being like everyday high school life. So I'm excited to read this. Again, short as a theme that we see here. And then lastly, one of my newest books that I have on my shelf is Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. I chose this one because, one, I absolutely love Elizabeth Acevedo's writing. I've read The Poet X and I currently have With the Fire on High on my TBR. But this one is again written in verse. So I think I can get through this in one sitting, and I also think that this is going to be my first read of this readathon. So I'm excited to get started and I'm excited to finally kick this reading slump and just have a good time with you guys. So right now I'm starting Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, and I will update you guys when I'm at a place where I feel like I can give you my opinions. Pages into Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, and the story is told in verse, as I said before in the intro, but it's told from the perspective of 2 high school daughters, one living in New York and one living in the Dominican Republic. The one living in the Dominican Republic, her name is Camino, and her father only visits her in the summer. The daughter living in New York, her name is Jahaila, I believe is how it's pronounced. Her father is with her all year round except for the summer. I believe they have the same father. There was some allusion to the fact that Jahaila possibly knows about Camino. We don't know if Camino knows about Jahaila yet. Their father got on a plane, obviously, to come to the Dominican Republic for the summer, and the plane crashes. Both of these girls don't believe that their father could possibly be dead. They're both going through denial, and they just don't feel that there's any way that their father would have got on a plane that crashes. Both dealing with it in different ways and for different reasons, but that's where we're at right now. I'm going to continue reading to see what else I can get from it and kind of form my thoughts a little bit more. I'll update you guys when I get a little bit farther into the book. Pages into Clap When You Land, and a lot has happened. We're getting background into both of the girls' lives when they had their father, and it's just crazy to see how differently Camino's life in the Dominican Republic was with her father versus Jahaila's life in New York with her father. Their dynamics and relationships with their father was just completely different. He was loving to both of them, but just the way that they interacted with him and the hobbies that they had with him was just, it's really amazing to read about. I will say the struggles that both of the girls face in their everyday lives are completely and drastically different. There are conversations about money and the struggle to just survive now that their father is not alive. There is also, I will say, a definite trigger warning for pedophilic sexual abuse. There hasn't been anything explicit, but there has been conversations about men leasing young girls for sexual pleasure. Also, we have LGBTQ plus representation in here, which is amazing to read about. Also, this novel is on Voices. Elizabeth Acevedo is a woman of color, and her writing is absolutely beautiful. There's some lines in here that I have had to read like a couple times just because they really took my breath away with how beautiful her writing is. So far, I'm really enjoying this novel, and I'm really enjoying both of the characters, actually. I find Camino and Jahada, of course, they're very different, but they're just both very strong main characters, and we're kind of a little bit past the plane crash now, and it has been said that there are no survivors from that plane crash, and they're both kind of processing that, oh yeah, my dad is probably dead. They're still, of course, processing that and trying to figure out how to feel about that. They're kind of past this initial shock phase, and the dynamics of this story is just beautiful. I'm really enjoying it so far. So I'm gonna get back to it, and I will update you guys in a little bit. Okay, so I'm about 231 pages into Clap When You Land, and right now the girls have found out about each other, not the best ways, and there is issues with money allocation from the airline company and who is getting what money from the advance payment. But right now, my boyfriend got us Chipotle for dinner, so we're gonna take a break, watch some RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm over halfway through the book, so once Drag Race and Chipotle has been consumed, I will get back to it. Is 10:30 and I just completed my first book of this readathon. Not gonna lie, there at the end I started tearing up a little bit. This story is more about the beautiful things that can come in the face of tragedy. In this book we have two sisters that found each other through their father's death, and it was really a beautiful story, and if I had to rate this book, I would probably give it 4 stars. It didn't do anything wrong. It was beautiful. It's just not one of my new favorites. So I think I'm gonna start Animal Farm now, but I'm getting pretty tired. I'm trying to push through it, but we will see. Alright, so plot twist. I need to take care of my animals. I also realized that it's 10:30 and I haven't started my audiobook yet. So while I'm taking care of my animals, giving medications, walking, etc., I'm gonna start my audiobook because I really need to get started on that if I want to finish it. I'm still planning to hopefully start Animal Farm before bed. How realistic is that? I don't know. A girl has to have her sleep. I will let you know how I'm feeling about Challenger Deep when I get a little bit into it. So I'm sorry if you can hear my fan, it's a little hot in here. It's currently 11 and I have taken care of all my animals and everything. Taken off my makeup, as you can see. I started Challenger Deep, but I'm only 10 chapters in and each chapter is like a minute long. So I don't have any thoughts and opinions right now. But I figured my job absolutely destroys my nails. I work at an animal hospital, so my job is really rough when I have to restrain an animal and do their nails and stuff like that. So I figured, why not just paint my nails this pretty color and listen to an audiobook for the next, I don't know, half an hour and see how far I can get. And hopefully I can give you guys a more formed opinion of how I'm feeling about the book. So let's do it. Alright guys, it's 11:50 and my nails are painted. Please don't look at them too closely. They're not great. I'm actually, let's see, 31 chapters into Challenger Deep. And I just looked and I'm actually at the 50-page mark, which is kind of insane. I'm going to try to start Animal Farm before I go to bed, but I'm really tired. I'm gonna at least try to start it and listen to a little bit more of Challenger Deep. We will see. Good morning guys. It is 10 a.m. I know I look crazy. I literally just woke up. I went to bed about I guess I should say this morning, and I actually did end up starting Animal Farm. I read 10 pages of it. It's less than 100 pages, so I think that I should be able to get through it today, no problem. I also listened to 30 more chapters of Challenger Deep before I went to bed, so I'm now past the 100-page mark, and that means I'm a third of the way through it. I'm probably going to continue on with Challenger Deep while I take care of my animals for the morning, and then we'll see where I land. Alright guys, it's 11. I've got my animals taken care of. I've listened to another 25 chapters of Challenger Deep, and it's very evident that this child is suffering with a pretty severe mental illness that nobody knows how to deal with, and he doesn't even know how to deal with it himself. So it's hard to read about at times, his family dynamic and his dynamic with his friends. We're finally at a place in the novel where he is being institutionalized for his illness, which is probably the best thing for him. So right now I'm hungry and need my caffeine fix. Got my dog back here. Got my boyfriend driving. We live less than a mile from a Dunkin' and a Starbucks. I'm craving donuts, but I'm also craving Starbucks coffee. So we're gonna go get Starbucks coffee and Dunkin' Donuts to eat. We just got back from our Starbucks Dunkin' Donuts run, and I got from Starbucks, I got a venti iced white chocolate mocha with light ice and no whipped cream. So good. And then from Dunkin', I just got some basic glazed donuts. That's the kind of donuts I like. I actually have to take my car at 1 to go get some parts put into it, and it's currently 11:30. While I'm eating breakfast, I'm going to listen to more Challenger Deep. I'm trying to get to at least the 100 chapter mark, and like I said, I'm at 84, 85. And then when I accomplish that goal, I'm going to dive right back into Animal Farm and let you guys have some more formed opinions of what I'm thinking about this. So I've spent the last 45 minutes listening to Challenger Deep. I am now on chapter 117, and I realized that I didn't really give a good description of what this book is about. So this book is about a boy named Caden Bosch, and he is very obviously struggling with mental illness. He can't stop his mind from reeling. He always has thoughts, and these thoughts spiral, and we're kind of going through two timelines in Caden's life. So of course his real life, his reality that he's living, and also this reality as a cruise ship member that he has created for himself. And as he has been institutionalized, as I said in my last clip about this book, we're starting to realize that the characters in this cruise ship reality are based on real people that he is meeting in his real life. And this cruise ship reality that he's created for himself is a way for him to escape his thoughts and a way for him to escape the reality of having to suffer from a mental illness. And so far, I'm really enjoying this book. I really enjoy Caden as a character, as somebody who struggles with mental illness. The spiraling and the way that is portrayed and how you can never shut your brain off, it's done really well. Neal Shusterman is doing it really well in this novel. It's nice to be able to read and be understood in a way, although I can't relate with all of Caden's actions and mannerisms and things that he's experiencing. I can definitely relate with the not being able to shut your brain off. So far, I'm really enjoying this book, and I am just a little over 100 pages from the end. I'm gonna take a break from this for a little bit and dive back into Animal Farm for the next 30 minutes before I have to take my car. So it is currently 3:45 in the afternoon. I just got my car back and I have an hour and 45 minutes left in this read-a-thon. And I actually finished Animal Farm while waiting for my car. I really enjoyed it. On a surface level, this book is about a group of farm animals who overtake their farm owner and decide to run the farm for themselves. On a much deeper level, George Orwell is talking about, yes, the idea of communism works in theory, but when it's put to the test, there's always a group who will think that they're better than others, that they deserve more than others, that they deserve to rule over others. That's kind of the message that George Orwell is portraying in this novella. No matter how hard we try, humans are just innately too greedy to really put forth the idea of equality. I have read George Orwell before. I read 1984, didn't love it, and then I really liked this one. I would probably give this one 5 stars. I liked this one a lot. So I think for the next hour and 45 minutes or so, I'm going to finish Challenger Deep, play some Animal Crossing while I do that. Hopefully I'll at least be able to start Station 11. I have no hope of finishing it in the next hour and 45 minutes, but we will see. Alright guys, so it is 5:22. I just finished Challenger Deep, and I'm so happy that I have read 3 books in the last 24 hours. Also, it's about to storm, so I'm gonna try to do this quickly. Challenger Deep, I really enjoyed it. If I had to rate it, I would probably say 3 to a 3.5 star, and that is just because listening to it, I would kind of get confused about the overlapping of the timelines. What is he imagining? What is real? And I feel like that's a little bit intentional on Neal Shusterman's part, just because that's how mental illness portrays itself. You know, the person that has mental illness often confused about what's going on in their head. But I read Animal Farm, Challenger Deep, and I also read Clap When You Land. Somewhere on the screen, a page count of all the books I've read. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will hit you guys later with a new video soon.